This evening, Gymkhana is back after a 2-year hiatus owing to the pandemic. Guyana and Brazil signed a mutual agreement to give civil and criminal legal aid. Taxi drivers staged kidnapping after being caught trafficking narcotics. In the region, Economist Rodrigo Chaves takes office as Costa Rica's new president, and internationally, Russia's Putin presides over a huge Victory Day military parade. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. After a 2-year hiatus owing to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Guyana Police Force, Gymkhana, returned with a bang. The police sports club ground at Ivleri came alive on Sunday as ranks of the police force showcased their talent in obedience drill and scent work by the K9 section, dances, aerobics, musical chairs, and agility. The event was attended by several ministers of government, members of the diplomatic community, the business community, and Guyanese from all walks of life. Ranks from the mounted branch demonstrated their abilities and talent during the horse racing segment. Among the most competitive activities were the bun eating and soda drinking competitions, the late for work race, the greasy pig catching competition, and the egg and spoon race. The sack race was fun galore among those youngsters, with the first place winner receiving $50,000. Ministers Robertson Ben, Kwame McCoy, and Anand Prasad, as well as P.S. May Thomas, assisted with the presentation of prizes as hundreds of excited and enthusiastic patrons enjoyed the return of Gymkhana 2022. A woman was killed in a horrific accident at Mahaica caused by an impaired driver speeding on the nation's highway. Esther Sobers has more.
A tragic accident at the Hanenfeld Public Road, Mahaica, East Coast, Darara, resulted in the death of 44-year-old Shanice Hussein of Greenfield, East Coast, Darara, just after midnight on Monday, May 9, 2022. According to a report from police, the accident involved a motor car PJJ 485 driven by 22-year-old Safif Arjun and occupants Shaziz Hussein, now deceased, Arfin Arjun, 19 years old, and 16-year-old male. Further inquiries disclosed that the driver of the motor car PJJ 485 was proceeding east along the public road, allegedly at a fast rate of speed, when the driver lost control of the vehicle and collided with a utility pole on the northern side of the road, subsequently crashing into a culvert. As a result of the impact, the driver of the occupants received injuries on their bodies. The police ranks who responded took the injured person to the Maikoni Cottage Hospital, where Shaziz Hussein was pronounced dead on arrival by a doctor. The driver and the 16-year-old, who sustained a broken right leg, were subsequently transferred to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, where they were admitted. The body of Shaziz Hussein is at the Jerrick's Funeral Home awaiting a post-mortem examination. A breathalyzer test conducted on the 22-year-old driver found him to be above the legal alcohol limit. Further investigations are in progress. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Following a one-day official visit by a high-level delegation, including Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro on Friday, Guyana and Brazil mutually agreed to provide legal assistance in civil and criminal matters through the signing of 2 bilateral agreements at the Arthur Chung Convention Center. The first agreement will see Guyana and Brazil providing full legal cooperation in areas such as civil and administrative law, as well as criminal sentences that seek compensation for damages in the civil court. The Treaty on Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters will provide assistance with the investigation or prosecution of criminal offenses, including the restraint, seizure, or confiscation and disposal and return of assets. The treaties were signed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, HUTOD, and his Brazilian counterpart, Minister Carlos Alberto Franco Franca, and witnessed by President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali and Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro. President Ali said the engagement is part of an ongoing talks between the two nations that will advance several plans for the future. Additionally, the country's leaders agreed to pursue greater collaboration in agriculture and food security through the sharing of information and best practices. President Ali further added that the aim is to advance the CARICOM agri-food system, ensuring food security in the region. Stick around after the break. Minister of Health challenges health workers to begin coaching their patients on how to live healthier lifestyles. and taxi driver staged kidnapping after being caught trafficking in narcotics.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. It is your civic duty and legal responsibility to apply for registration if you are eligible. When you do, you would be issued a national ID card and be listed to vote at future elections if you meet other eligibility criteria. Persons could be fined or sent to prison for refusing to apply for registration. Registration will end on May 29, 2022. For further information, please contact GCOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
They say that when it hits you, it hits you. A feeling so strong that it's impossible not to give in to a juicy piece of KFC. To feel elevated by the aroma and to free fall into its exciting flavor. Some call it love, attraction, desire. We call it KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to register? Visit the registration office responsible for your area of residence to apply for registration. See Sunday Press for the locations of the registration offices. Registration offices are open from Monday to Friday, 8 to 18 hours, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 14 hours. The offices will be closed on holidays. This registration exercise will end on Sunday, May 29, 2022. For further information, contact GCOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808. Or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony challenged healthcare workers to start coaching their patients on living healthier lives. Minister Anthony, during the recent launch of the Hearth Technical Package at the Eccles Health Center on the east bank of Demerara, said when people go to the health centers, doctors and healthcare workers should be able to advise them on how to make good lifestyle changes. While Dr. Anthony emphasized the importance of health workers in educating this and assisting people in making healthy changes, he also stated that training will be provided to guarantee that personnel are better able to communicate with their patients and assist them in making these changes. In Guyana, non-communicable diseases like cardiovascular diseases, stroke, high blood pressure, and diabetes are prevalent. However, these diseases could be prevented with lifestyle changes such as exercising, reducing salt and alcohol intake, losing weight, and diet modification, among other things. Meanwhile, preventing and controlling diabetes is another priority of the Health Ministry, since according to estimates from the International Diabetic Federation, approximately 60,000 persons in Guyana are diabetic. Minister Anthony reiterated the government's commitment to providing better infrastructure as well as training for healthcare workers so that they can provide quality services to the country's population. A man from Berbice was arrested at a police roadblock after he was caught transporting a substantial quantity of cannabis. Dale Jarvis has the details.
Police ranks were on a roadblock duty in front of the Weldat police station in West Berbice and arrested a man after he was found transporting over 30 kilograms of marijuana on Saturday, May 7th. Reports said that during the wee hours of the morning, the ranks stopped a car owned and driven by a 47-year-old hire car driver from the East Bank Berbice. A 23-year-old unemployed man who lives in New Amsterdam, East Bank Berbice, was a passenger in a taxi at the time, and police conducted a search on him and his bags. The police found 3 market bags with 15 compressed parcels wrapped in clear plastic. The parcels contained several leaves, seeds, and stems suspected to be cannabis. The passenger was told of the offense of possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking, arrested and cautioned. The man admitted to the possession of the cannabis, which was weighed in his presence and amounted to over 30 grams. The cannabis was lodged and the man remains in custody as investigations continue. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. After being caught trafficking narcotics, a Berbice taxi driver staged his kidnapping, as the Sobers explains.
Police are looking for a 23-year-old taxi driver who allegedly faked his kidnapping. According to reports on May 7th, a 21-year-old lady of Essex Street, New Amsterdam, Berbice, reported at the police station that her fiancé, a 23-year-old taxi driver, had left home on May 5th around 7:50 a.m. to drop off a passenger in Georgetown. According to her, he was transporting a passenger referred to as Bog Boy. The woman said she called her fiancé later that night to find out where he was, and he told her he was at Weldat, West Berbice. He had then turned back to make a pick-up at Bath Settlement. That was the last she heard from him. She said she received a call on her land phone around 1:30 hours the following morning from a man who told her that he left some narcotics in her fiancé's car and wanted $1 million for it, or else she would find him dead on the roadside. The woman stated that she informed the male caller that she's lack of the necessary funds. She asked to speak to her fiancé, but the man disconnected the call. The woman further noted that she received photographs of her fiancé on a bed with his hands and feet bound and a message demanding $500,000. She was warned against contacting the police. However, on April 22nd, the alleged kidnapped victim abandoned his motor car and ran away from the police in Region 5 after his car was found to have contained cannabis. The taxi driver alleged collaborated with others to fake his kidnapping. Police headquarters stated on Saturday the person for whom he was delivering the cannabis at the time asked the taxi driver to pay him $1 million for his losses. The passenger, Bog Boy, who was in the car with the taxi driver, is currently in custody and is being interrogated, whilst the police is on the hunt for the taxi driver. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away after the break. Mining in Ghana, environmentalists fight to stop deforestation, and Russia's Putin presides over a huge Victory Day military parade. But before that, here is the bridge retraction schedule, sponsored by Antique and Modern Concrete Molding Establishment.
In a world filled with copycats and ever-changing trends, make your property stand out with unique concrete moldings. Different, exquisite designs carefully handcrafted to suit your style, with various customizable and antique and modern designs made at our factory. Antique and modern molding establishment. We make your property outstanding. We make and install all moldings anywhere in Guyana. The best quality, affordable prices, on-the-spot quotes, and no hidden fees. Call us or WhatsApp us at 684-5050 or email us at modernestab@gmail.com. Antique and modern molding establishment, made to stand out.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Eligible persons can apply for new registration if you were never registered, name change if you have changed your name since you were registered, correction if registration information is incorrect, and transfer if you have changed your address since you were registered. See Sunday Press for more details. This registration exercise will end on Sunday, May 29, 2022. For further information, contact GCOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Rodrigo Chaves, Costa Rica's new president, has promised to revive economy, invest in education, and fight corruption. The Economist and former World Bank executive have also promised to tackle sexual harassment. Chaves resigned from the global lender in 2019 after nearly 3 decades following allegations of sexual misconduct. Al Jazeera's Alessandro Rampietti reports.
A handover of power in Costa Rica, Rodrigo Chaves is presented the presidential sash after running a successful campaign as a political maverick who promised to clean up a broken system. A message he repeated at his inauguration.
Sí, juro. Aquí no. It is time to leave behind the old practices that the Costa Rican people rightly fault us with. There is no difference between the ruling party and the opposition. If the political class fails once again, our country could fall apart.
The rise of the former World Bank official has surprised many. He emerged from the shadows to the presidency after serving only 8 months as finance minister in the previous administration. He brought a populist streak to the usually subdued Costa Rican presidential campaign, exploiting a growing resentment against traditional parties and people's worries of rising unemployment, crime, and the cost of living.
In Costa Rican politics, we are now in a new era, electoral volatility, high electoral volatility, big changes in terms of support, and also political parties are weak. Right? Their electoral bases are small.
Since clinching victory, though, Chaves has shown a more traditionally conservative side, promising to keep public finances solvent and reducing expectations on immediate major increases on social spending. Observers say he will face an uphill battle and an increasingly disillusioned public. His party will have only 10 of Costa Rica's 57 congressional seats, meaning he will have to reach agreements with the more traditional parties.
There are two big questions. One, he's going to be able to build a team, because these people don't know each other at all, and they are going to have to work together. So that's a big question. And the other big question, the biggest, I would say, it's precisely that. The people who really voted for him, who wanted tabula rasa, what are they going to do? Because they won't have it.
Costa Rica has long been recognized as Central America's most stable country, applauded for its environmental and moderate economic policies. But many believe that if Chaves fails, his presidency could trigger a more unstable and turbulent time for this country. Alessandro Rampietti, Al Jazeera.
And internationally, as his forces wage a war in Ukraine, President Vladimir Putin has been leading Victory Day commemorations in Moscow. Thousands of soldiers have been marching through Red Square on the day Russia celebrates the surrender of Nazi Germany to Soviet troops in 1945. Al Jazeera's Victoria Gettenberg reports.
It happens every year, but it's taken on added significance because of the war in Ukraine, a parade to commemorate the Soviet victory against Nazi Germany 77 years ago. An estimated 27 million soldiers and civilians from the Soviet Union died in the Second World War. Russian President Vladimir Putin compared the previous fight against fascism to the invasion of Ukraine.
Вы сражаетесь за наших людей на Донбассе.
You're fighting for our people in Donbass, for the safety of our motherland, Russia. May the 9th, 1945 will forever be perpetuated as a triumph of our one single Soviet people, of its cohesion and spiritual might and perilous exploits, both at the front line and at the home front.
Military hardware was on display as the parade made its way from Red Square through the streets of Moscow. It's designed to send a message, but at a time when Russian forces are struggling to gain the upper hand in Ukraine, it's also a show of force for national consumption.
This war appeared to be much more difficult and bloody than we expected. We expected that this will be a battle for Donbass. Will continue probably until the middle of summer, and then, based on the result of this battle on Donbass, new political decisions will be made.
With few outright victories in Ukraine, some Russians had feared Putin would use this occasion to announce national mobilization and formally declare war against Ukraine. That didn't happen. Instead, Putin said Russia must ensure there is never another world war. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had a defiant message for Moscow.
On February 24, Russia launched an offensive step. The same mistake has been made by every occupier who's come to our land. We have survived various wars, and they've all had one ending. Our land was planted with bullets and shells, but no enemy was able to take root here.
This is a day that unites most Russians in remembrance and national pride. But Ukrainian and Western leaders say Russia's invasion of Ukraine is repeating the horrors of the past. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera.
And finally, activists in Ghana have launched a legal challenge to stop mining in protected areas. This is after the government signed a deal with a Chinese company to extract bauxite. They say the move threatens the already endangered animals and plants. Al Jazeera's Famida Miller reports.
Atawa Forest in eastern Ghana is known for its abundant biodiversity, including endangered animals and rare plants, dozens of which are threatened with extinction. Despite the area being declared protected, the government plans to begin large-scale mining for bauxite.
The government has been saying over and over again, I've said since 2018, that they would not unnecessarily compromise the forest. They have not so far demonstrated to any agency, to Ghanaians, how that is going to be done. And you know why? Because there is no technology that will allow government to go ahead and tap the bauxite in this forest without compromising the forest.
Bauxite is used to produce aluminium products. While the government's agreed to a $2 billion mining deal with China, it's yet to get permission from Ghana's Environmental Protection Agency. The government says it's relying on the potential proceeds from the mining of both bauxite and gold to develop local mining communities.
We now have a fund which is solely dedicated to the development of the mining communities of our country, where, if you want, 20% by law of the royalties which accrue to the state are dedicated to this fund. And the fund is exclusively for the development of mining communities, the provision of water, for instance, electricity, educational infrastructure, healthcare.
But many small-scale miners and loggers work illegally, surviving on minimal income. Gold miners say they hardly benefit, and critics say their activities are harming the environment. Communities in Ghana's western region rely on the Pra River for drinking water and to bathe and cook. The Beram Water Basin feeds 3 major rivers, providing water for millions of people across Ghana. But mining upstream has contaminated the water.
We don't get access to clean water as it used to be because of the mining activities. It is affecting the community a lot. When the tap doesn't flow as it used to be, sometimes a month or 2 or 3 weeks, you don't even get water to flow in your tap.
Mining opponents are taking the government to court to stop the search for bauxite. Critics say that while they understand the need to benefit from natural resources, Ghana's forests need to be protected for future generations. Famida Miller, Al Jazeera.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. That is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.